I've got 3 major XRP updates for you today that you absolutely have to see. And if you don't consider yourself an XRP holder, then I would definitely reconsider because these updates are going to blow your mind. Let's get it. Welcome back, everybody, to my channel where you subscribe for daily videos on everything going on in cryptocurrency. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some exclusive XRP news. And before we get into that, let's take a look at the XRP price. At the time of this recording, XRP is sitting around 92 cents, give or take, and it looks like it's gonna continue with its overall uptrend. As you can see here, we are in a clear uptrend. We had a touch of the 50 moving average, which is right here, and then bounced right off of it and continued up higher. So things are looking good for XRP. Now let us go ahead and get into the 3 big news stories that you need to know about. And first, we're going to start with the most obvious one, which is the Ripple versus SEC case. This case has been going on for a while now, but there was a new filing from both sides that revealed some interesting information. First, let me read it to you straight from the horse's mouth. Here is what the filings say. In the past 2 weeks, defendants have learned through media accounts and other public sources of multiple communications among the SEC staff concerning these matters. Some of those communications contain expressions of views and opinions that differ from those espoused by the SEC in this litigation. Plaintiffs are requesting that defendants identify the individuals who made these statements, the recipients of the statements, and the dates and nature of any other communications related to this litigation. So they're re-asking the SEC who was involved in making certain statements that they did not agree with, and they want them to come forward. Now, why do you think they're doing this? Well, they want to discredit some of the people over at the SEC that may have said something that is not aligned with what the SEC is publicly saying. Because remember, the SEC says they treated XRP like a security. They say they treated XRP like a stock. But many insiders and people within the company and even some of the lawyers seem to think differently. And this is how we know this. There were internal chats, there were internal emails, there were internal memos that showed that the SEC actually didn't think XRP was a security. Therefore, they were trying to discredit those people so that their own words don't come back to haunt them in court. But unfortunately for the SEC, it's too little too late because all of the information is out there. They can't hide it anymore. And this is good news for XRP holders. No, 2, more institutional adoption. This is huge. We've been talking about it for months. Bank of America, one of the largest banks in the world, has partnered with a crypto firm called Fireblocks to allow for the custody and trading of digital assets. Now, what does this mean for XRP? Well, we've talked about this a bunch. Bank of America is already using the XRP ledger. They already have the technology in place. They just didn't have a secure way to store the assets. Well, now they have partnered with Fireblocks to do exactly that. And according to the press release, they will be offering this service to their wealth management clients very soon. So let's keep an eye out for that. And this is big news because once again, Bank of America is using the XRP ledger. Speaking of partnerships, let's go ahead and talk about No3, which is XRP's global use cases. According to a recent report by CoinDesk, payments made with XRP are increasing dramatically. In fact, the number of payments made with XRP last month hit a 13-month high. And also, the total value of remittances sent via XRP also increased to a 13-month high. And the report goes on to state that much of the surge in activity is coming from outside the United States. For example, a payment network called Coins, PH saw a 40% increase in monthly XRP transactions. And according to their chief operating officer, they are seeing a lot of use in the Philippines. Additionally, the report states that XRP is being used to pay for flights out of Argentina, and that a fintech firm based in Mexico is using XRP for cross-border B2B payments. And finally, there is a remittance firm based in the UK that uses XRP for currency exchange, and they claim that their transaction speeds have improved by 30% thanks to Ripple's new on-demand liquidity product. So as you can see, XRP is being used all over the world and for a variety of different use cases. And this is great news for XRP holders. Now, one final piece of information that I want to share with you guys is that Bitcoin is once again approaching its all-time high. At the time of this recording, Bitcoin is sitting around 68K. It touched 68K earlier this morning, and this is causing a lot of people to say that the bull market is over. The bubble has already popped. But I'm here to tell you that I do not believe that is the case. If you look at a chart of Bitcoin's price, you can see that we are still in an uptrend. We did have a large lower wick on this candle, but overall we are in an uptrend. We are only at the start of the bull market, and I believe that we have a lot more room to run. So stay tuned. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is what the insiders are saying. One of the big questions that we have is what happens when Ripple wins the case. What happens next? Well, here is what one of the insiders is saying. He says that once Ripple wins the case, it could cause a lot of FOMO in the market and could cause a huge price pump for XRP. And another insider went on to say that the XRP community should expect several major announcements in the coming weeks. Announcements that could cause the price of XRP to skyrocket. And with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up today's video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I hope that you learned something. If you did, make sure you hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button and let me know what you think in the comments below. Once again, today was a huge day for XRP. We got a ton of great news. We've got several major announcements coming in the future, so stay tuned and I'll see you tomorrow.